Okay, you all. So we have a nice, lovely segment for you all. A beautiful one.
Brilliant.
Listen,
Yes.
okay, let me just start off by introducing him like this. He's a Georgia State representative. He's choosing country over party. And we heard that he's going to be exposing those Democrats. Oh. Please welcome to the show, Representative Vernon Jones.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hey, thank y'all. Two of my favorite patriots.
Oh, thank you so much. So I'm hearing this here. There's this representative. He's voting Trump because he's just tired about how the mishandling and the mistreatment of people, especially people of color, that's been done by Democrats. Explain to us what are you trying to expose here and what's going on?
Well, I want to bring it even closer. It's how the Democratic Party treats blacks. I want to be more specific because people of color, you can go different colors, but specifically how they treat blacks. Certainly those who are independent with conservative leanings. And as you know, the Democratic Party literally takes their votes year in and year out, and they just give fake and false promises. They do not follow through. They do not deliver because they think they have a captive audience. And so they can just go right on in. And when they don't win, when liberal white Democrats don't win, they blame the African-American vote about, low black turnout. No, it was no white turnout for you. And so you always want to blame it on the blacks, but black people have been faithful for the past 60 years almost and supporting the Democratic Party. I just had enough. And for them to try to silence me, that was just too much. And so when they talk about a party of a big tent and inclusion and diversity, yes, they're inclusive in terms of females, they're inclusive in terms of people of different genders, they're inclusive in terms of age. But here's the thing, they're not inclusive when it comes to an independent thinking black man.
That's right.
I am supposed to carry their water. These far left liberal agenda items, they put illegals who come over to this country, I'm talking about drug dealers and gangbangers. They put them ahead, their needs, their desires, give them our resources. And we have black families who are suffering right here in the United States, black communities who are suffering right here in the United States, where they're taking resources that should be coming for us. Now, let me be clear. I support immigration, but it has to be enforced, there has to be structure, and we have to follow the law.
That's right. It have to be legal.
I got that. And you say, so they sort of like bully you into silence. When did you notice the shift when it came to the Democrat Party? Because they used to be the party for black people, but there's been a shift because they no longer represent black people, really, not even any American in their values, if you really listen to their tone. So when did this shift happen?
You know, I've been noticing this for a long time. I was in the legislature years ago for 8 years, then served as county exec 8 years. I set out 8 years for my private company and then came back the past 4 years in the legislature. I've seen that shift in the Democratic Party. Even when we had the majority in Georgia, majority of Democrats, blacks were still shifted. And so I support the Constitution, which is equal protection for all. But what I do not support is when you take a Joe Biden who goes and he passes a crime bill that put black men in jail, that literally wipe away a generation of African Americans, separate from their families. They are separated from their mothers, their sisters, their daughters, and their children. And for him to do that, and then here's Donald Trump coming and letting those same black men out, to giving them an opportunity to reconnect and have a second chance. And I'm going to vote for Joe Biden. Joe Biden, no. He's a nice man. I'm sure he's a very nice man. But my priorities are clear. President Trump is about action. He addressed the Criminal Justice Reform Act with the First Step Act.
That's
Historical black colleges. You know, I'm from North Carolina. I attended North Carolina Central University in Durham. That was the breeding ground for African Americans when we couldn't go to majority white schools. When the previous administration cut those fundings, it was President Trump that came back and restored them, increased them, and wrote it into law.
Now, who cut those fundings?
The previous administration cut those fundings.
The previous administration you're talking about President Obama.
President Obama, as a matter of fact, a lot of African Americans had concerns that he didn't really see the value and care about African American or historical black colleges. Maybe because he has no connection to them. Maybe that's it. But many of us do.
It's a lot of people that don't understand that, sir. It's a lot of people that really don't understand a lot of different things that took place during the Obama administration, when it came down to cutting different funding for HBCUs, and how you have President Trump that's come back and say, okay, you know what, let's put in a permanent fixture here so that you won't have to keep running back and forth to me asking for money.
And that's the key. That's the key. This is what has never happened in the history of this country that I know, at least in my lifetime, where HBCUs were automatically written into the law. So they're not coming begging year in and year out trying to get funded. That's unheard of. But who did that? Not Obama. And I'm not beating up on President Obama.
No,
Let me tell you, I believe he's a nice man. But his policies for African Americans and how he helped African Americans and compared to President Trump, there is no comparison. Now, Obama has a solid record on helping illegals. He has a solid record on pushing for the LGBTQ community. He has a solid record of working with people from the Ivy League community. He didn't even put an African-American female on the Supreme Court justice. Can you imagine that? He had 3 nominations, 2 made it to the bench. But the bedrock of his hardest and most staunch supporters, the African-American female. And what did he do? He put a Hispanic on the Supreme Court, and he put another person on the Supreme Court that never even been a judge in their entire life. Not that you have to be a judge, but the fact of it is, he didn't support, in my opinion, and many others, the Black agenda. What about our agenda? And finally, you know, I know you want to ask another question, but when I looked at the platform and the stage for the Democratic presidential debate, oh yeah, it started out diverse, but what happened? If you didn't raise X amount of money, regardless of your credentials, United States Senator, former governor, you didn't make the cut. However, they turned around and changed the rules for a white man that was a millionaire that talked about throwing blacks up against the wall and browns and searching them down and said the crime is going on in their neighborhood, so we should profile them. But last I checked, Bernie Madoff did not live in the hood, and Bernie Madoff did more to hurt people than anybody I know of. Or comparison the two, I should say. But it's strange, though, the Democratic Party welcomed that with open arms. And so then it ended up coming down to what? It came down to, you had Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, you had the other gentleman who was a mayor of a little small town, and I was a mayor of a county bigger than some states. And then you have, and so he makes the stage, and there's an Asian gentleman, nice gentleman, had no experience at all. And then it narrowed down to what? 2 old white men. And I'm not being a racist here. I'm just using their description, their color as a description. 2 white men.
Yes.
What happened to the Democrats? And you know who saved Joe Biden in South Carolina? It wasn't the LGBTQ community. It wasn't the illegals. You know who it was? It was the African Americans.
Right.
Now you watch. Let's see who he's going to pick. For his nominee, presidential running mate. It's going to be
I'm listening to you talk, and at the end of the day, you're still a Democrat.
Listen, I didn't leave the party. The party
you're talking about your own party here.
I didn't leave the party. The party left me. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And I'm going to root out that bigotry in the Democratic Party. I am taking a stand. You know, when I had enough after I endorsed President Trump, a barrage of attacks from the Democrats, liberals, those totalitarian liberals, and the ones that get black people to attack black people to keep you on the plantation. And I said, this is crazy. I decided, I said, you know, I'm not going to finish my term. And then when I got all this support from around the country after those horrible attacks that really took it to a different level. I mean, I was called some things that it was just, I won't even repeat. But when I started getting calls and emails and letters from people in my district, people of color, black people, from fellow Georgians, all colors, all shapes, and all sizes, and all parties, and the country, the United States, white, black, brown, blue, age, was young, it didn't matter. That outcry and that support gave me the motivation and strength. So you know what? I'm going to stay on this battlefield. I'm going to root out this bigotry. I'm going to fulfill the rest of my term, and I'm going to use this platform. Again, I'm going to use this platform to shake the Democratic Party up. Because, you know, if you don't have an agitator in your wash machine and you wash your clothes, you're going to end up with some what? Wet, dirty clothes.
Wet, dirty clothes.
So I'm going to agitate this party.
Wow.
Wow, that's interesting. You know, when you talk about the Democrat Party, it is what it is. And welcome to the club when they call you names. But the more they hate, the more you have to continue to educate about this party, because what they want to do is they want to bully you into submission. They want to hide you on the plantation in the fields and feel like you're not supposed to have a say and you're supposed to go along to get along. And if you question the status quo, they have more to say, and they ostracize, criticize, stigmatize, and really kick you out of the conversation. Yeah. And I don't know why we are being done like that in this country when it comes to the left.
Or why we even allow it.
Why we even allow it.
Yeah.
Because we get a lot of our hate from these white liberal men. And we just can't, we don't understand. It's hard to fathom. We're living in 2020. We all have our own free will to think the way we want to think outside of the box.
Right.
But anything that we say is always scrutinized, and they make us feel as if they are the slave masters and we supposed to go somewhere and shut up. And that's what bothers me. Why is it that we can't have a conversation about what's going on in our country? Why is it that we can't have a conversation or be a part of the conversation when even during this pandemic?
It affects all of us.
Because it's affecting us, and we're hearing that African Americans are disproportionately affected by it. But when you say anything, if you question anything, I'm noticing that white liberal men want to shut you down. They want to call you out of your names. And if that fails, they want to now start saying you're a conspiracy theorist and you pushing conspiracy, when all you doing is gathering your research and questioning things.
That's right.
See, for a long time, Black people have went along to get along.
Yep.
They don't say nothing. You tell me to vote, I'm going to vote Democrat. But see, they've been using us as a commodity where we can be bought and sold.
That's right.
And at some point, enough is enough.
That's right.
Yes. And you know, here's another issue. You mentioned the plantation. I'm just amazed by if you're Black and you have an independent thought, how they think they're supposed to think for you. And I'm talking about liberals, men, women, all of them that are those far right and radical and socialist liberals. They think that they can think for us. They want to be in charge of us. They have that maternal instinct. They want to build us a habitat house, but not in their neighborhoods. And so when I start to think about this, I'm like, you know what? I'm up out of here. I'm getting off this plantation. Y'all can rent that room to somebody else. I'm not going to stand for it. I'm going to fight you head on. I'm going to pull that sheet literally off of you. I'm exposed to you to what you are, because you're not for African Americans. You're for every other group out there except for us. But every time they lose an election, I'm telling you, they always blame it on what? Low Black turnout. No, we give you everything and you give us nothing. And you know what? If they think that I'm going to go along with that, then they are chump. I'm not going to do that.
Right. Wow. And they do need to be exposed. And I believe that the party is being exposed, not just to African Americans, but to all Americans. They've gone so far left. When you see that we're in the midst of a pandemic, you think we will all be on the same team trying to solve this. How can we solve this here so that we can get back into the economy and move our country forward? But if you look at the left, if you look at the left-wing media and how they're perpetuating everything, the narrative, they want to keep it going. They want to literally destroy you. I mean, it's like we're not on the same page here. Why is that? Why is that? They don't have our best interests at heart, and I can see that, and I'm glad that you're opening up your eyes. Do you think you're opening up other people's eyes?
Oh, absolutely. Let me tell you, and I want to step back. When you talked about the media, the liberal media, the CNNs and the MSNBCs and others, they will go and get what I call agent provocateurs. They'll recruit Blacks to come on their shows. They're paying them a little contract to get them to talk down Blacks like me and you, who are independent thinking. They're literally being paid to discourage us, to whip us back in line. But that doesn't work here with me. As it relates to what they're trying to do with African Americans, clearly they are afraid. The Democrats, the liberals, the far left group, they are afraid of us to be like them. And here's what I mean by that. Whites vote both Democrat and Republican. As a matter of fact, when white Democrats vote for Republicans, they are elevated and called what? The Reagan Democrats. It's a big thing. It's cool. It's fashionable. That's okay. But when an African American who happens to be a Democrat and free thinking vote for a Republican, all of a sudden you get called out. You get attacked. You get lambasted. Zell Miller, I served him when he was a governor, Democratic governor. Zell Miller came out for George Bush. Not only did he endorse George Bush, but he also spoke at a Republican National Convention. Nobody censored him like I've been censored. Nobody said that he was an embarrassment to the state party, the party head saying that he was an embarrassment to the party. But when I exercise my constitutional rights and express how I feel, who I think should be the president of the United States, just my own vote, guess what? I'm taking the task. But you know what? I'm not afraid of them. What are they going to do? Spank me? I don't care about that. I'm moving forward. I'm going to do everything I can to help President Donald Trump get reelected. Why? Because I can see specific things that he has done for the Black community. And when he stood in Flint, Michigan at that Black church, he said, what do you have to lose? You've been voting for them for the past 50 plus years. What do you have to lose? And that thing resonated with me. And you know what? When he got elected, he showed us what we've lost by being with that crowd and what we've gained by being with him.
That's right.
And really, at this point, I don't care what side of the aisle you on. I don't care if you Black, white, pinstripe. I don't care if you are a Republican or a Democrat. I don't care if you are conservative or a liberal. I don't care if you gay or straight. I want everybody to vote Trump.
That's right. And don't vote based on the party.
Vote based on the person and what they're going to do. And he's already shown us what he can do, what he has done, and what he's about to do now, because he's leading us out of this pandemic. And guess what? Our country is going to be stronger, bigger, and better than we've ever seen it before. And that's what we love.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. And you have any more questions?
Well, I just, want to just ask one more question. What is your thoughts on this Wuhan coronavirus that's going on right now? What are your thoughts on it, if you have any?
Well, first of all, I want to say to everybody out there who's lost a family member or a friend, my heart goes out to you.
Oh yeah.
And that is real, and it's touched home with me personally. But I'll say this, our president was clear and precise and correct when he said this virus came from China. He wasn't being a racist when he said Chinese virus. He wasn't being a racist. He was identifying where it came from.
Where it came from.
At the same time, when he took action early on to stop flights from coming to America from China, he was lambasted by the liberal media again. Oh, you're a racist. Now you don't want Chinese people to come to America. And you know what? This president is the only president that I know that's had to deal with this type of pandemic crisis in the past, 60 years, in my lifetime at least. But he has done an amazing job of striking a balance between talking to the scientists, meeting with his advisors, those in the public health industry, using his gut instinct as well to provide safety and resources so we can get through this and treat people. But at the same time, he's balancing it with, we got to go back to work. This country has to go back to work.
We got to get back to work.
So he's taking a very moderate approach to start to ramp things back up. He's striking a good balance. And I appreciate him for that. And to blame him, I heard the liberal media folks said the blood is on his hand for this. That. I'm like, this is America. It's time for us to come together. Media. Stop it, media. Y'all are the racists. Y'all are the troublemakers. You guys are dividing this country. And so when I see that, it bothers me. Look, black, white, blue, green, gay, whatever. We have that American spirit.
That's right.
A lot of them out there are patriots. A lot of us are great Americans. And as long as we set aside the foolishness and concentrate on our neighbors, on our community, on our state, on our country, and on a global level around this world, we're going to get through this. Americans are resilient.
That's right.
We've had trying times before, but we come through every time.
Yes,
every time.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
I'm telling you, Vernon, thank you so much for having this discussion with us. Listen, I appreciate the awakening that you had and how you're sharing your story. Continue to share it. We want more people to vote for Trump. Let me tell you something. we want a country that's thriving. And we're going to get that country back that was thriving before this pandemic happened. Due to no fault of any of us. We didn't ask for this. We didn't put this in motion. This came upon us and it came from China.
That's right.
But this too shall pass. I appreciate you being with us. And listen, if we want to have you back on the show, would you promise to come back?
Well, now listen, only if you let me get a picture with you. All right. And my mom, let me tell you, when my mom would see you guys, my mama said those young women are cutting up on it, and she would just be laughing in her bed. And you know, my mom was a strong woman like y'all are, and she spoke her mind like you guys speak your mind. But you have done so much to help the African American community to wake up, so much to help America wake up. And so thank y'all for all you're doing, and God bless you. And only love can conquer that hate that's going on out there. So let's continue to love people.
And if anybody wanted to get in contact with you or wanted to follow you on your social media platform, where do they go?
Yes, they can go to Rep Vernon Jones, R-E-P Vernon Jones. That's my Twitter, at R-E-P Vernon Jones. Or my email is friendsofvernonjones@gmail.com.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Peace out, America.
Okay, so now you all, there you have it. Representative Vernon Jones, he's from the state of Georgia, you all, telling us his story, how actually he's going to be voting Trump. And let me tell you something, people should want to vote for President Trump when they see results.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
When you see results, why would you want to vote for the opposition, which is to me Biden, and there's no
in the basement.
And there's no results, and I think he's been in office almost half a century.
That's right.
Versus President Trump almost 4 years. So which one? Which one?
Yep.
You want somebody for half a century that hadn't done one thing for nobody but himself? He figured out how to enrich himself. So we're going to stick with Trump.
That's right.
So make sure you vote red, R-E-D. Remove every Democrat. You can go ahead on and vote them out. Listen, we have to take back the House, keep the Senate, and keep the White House.
That's right.
Okay, until next time, thank you all. Love you.
God bless.